Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
All right, good morning to you. It is time for Coffee Ann on ON Radio on the Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. Remember, right, 2024 on those Navigant Credit Union checks.
Oh, man, you're right.
How many times do people have to you see them
I'm sure there's a lot
out,
of that for the first week and a half, 2 weeks of the year.
You put your little initials next to it, say, yeah, this was me.
Yep, yep, there'll probably be a few of them. Myself included.
I'm Joe Callahan. That was Tim Draper. Good morning to you, Tim.
That's exactly what it was.
And that's Melissa Smith over there. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, how are
From
you?
the St. Antoine Communities. Good, how are you? And
I'm good. I keep
Happy New
repeating
Year.
in my head, 2024,
2024.
2020. It's like when you're a kid and you get in trouble in school and you have to write something on the board 100 times. I feel like you should probably write things about 100 times before it
and
sinks.
you'll get it.
I'm so excited. There's an extra day this year.
That's right. It's leap year this year.
that's true.
February 29th. We'll worry about that a little later on.
Somebody said that that's supposed to align the seasons, the leap days.
No.
Yeah, that's not working at all if that's the case.
No, it's a hot mess.
It's the Earth going around the sun.
clock,
It's
right?
365 days plus a quarter of a day.
But I'd heard an interpretation that it was also help align seasonality or something. But
I don't see that.
You would hope.
not now. It's not.
No, it's a mess. It's
John Ward is not with us today. We knew this. He's out and about. And
Could be listening to us in California.
He quite could be. So we expect John to be with us next week here on the Coffee and program. But we will persevere without him. But
Maybe
right
he's
now,
listening. Do you think he's listening?
It's 3 hours early in California.
He's been on the. Have you been following his pictures?
Yeah.
The scenery is
the
beautiful.
travel of John. Yeah, but he's in a box truck. I think.
I know. You got to be ramped up.
He can't be that comfortable.
I was hoping like that he's pulling over, stretching his leg. If you're listening,
I'm
John,
sure he
keep
is.
pulling over every 2 hours. Go for a walk, climb back. I'm
Right.
sure you are, but just in case.
The shining star here is that he's going to fly home. And he's not driving home.
That's
so.
good.
That's right.
All right, it's time for our first message, Melissa, from the St. Antoine Communities. Did they have a nice New Year's Eve celebration over there?
They did. They did it up really well.
Good.
Yeah, they did. And I always mention too, like jump on Facebook, follow our page. I share pictures all the time of the fun happenings. But yeah, it's been like 2 straight months of partying, pretty much from Halloween straight through to New Year's. We're taking a little pause. We're taking a little time out, and then we'll get back to our groove with. I think Valentine's is the next big wave of celebrations. Oh, we do a Chinese New Year, pretty big too. So yeah, we got some other stuff happening, but
seniors know how to
staff
party.
is tired.
They
They
do.
know how to party, and we don't. So it's trying to keep up with them for
Well,
sure.
they don't have to drive home. That's the beauty of it.
That's
So
very true.
the party starts at noon. The drinking starts at noon.
Done by
I
5.
have to just share quickly as a sidebar. So I do a lot of the meet and greets and tours on campus, and it is funny. It's a change of the times. You can tell when folks are asking, where's the gym or where's the bar, and you're like, wow, this generation coming through.
Where do you think you are?
I know.
Sounds like a strategic planning session up at the St. Antoine
Oh, it
Communities.
makes me laugh, but it's just funny. There's definitely a shift in the amenities that we're accustomed to in our
Right.
homes.
Where's the pool?
And the pool is a big question, and I could go into a 2-hour discussion as to why we should not have a pool.
Well, I understand that. Okay.
Can you everyone just pause and use their imagination
Yes.
on that one? But
In addition to the cost.
those facilities that have them, kudos to you. It's not something we're willing to bite off.
at this point.
So St. Antoine Community, we do not have a pool, but we have a lot of other things to offer you. And so on our property, we have an expansive continuum of services. They range from assisted living to short and long-term skilled care. We have a state-of-the-art rehab center, private hospice suite, as well as a large secured memory care unit, about to be 2 large secured memory care units, which I'll talk about in my second message. 2 buildings on our property are the Villa at St. Antoine, which is our 76-apartment assisted living facility, and the Residence at St. Antoine, which is our 180-bed short and long-term skilled care facility. So if you're presently at a crossroads with your loved one and trying to determine when is the right time to seek more help and support, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'd be happy to walk you through your options. You can reach me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@santantoine.net.
All right there, Melissa. Thank you very much. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240. First thing I'm starting off with today, TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
Seacock, North Attleboro,
Oh, I didn't hear about that one.
Mansfield, all closed on the same day.
Didn't
Put a
one say go to the other one, and that was closed too? There's signs on the door.
There were signs on the
pointing
door.
to different
Yeah.
TGI Fridays.
But if you go on their website, because I'm some kind of member at some point of TGI Fridays,
Yeah.
I got an email saying, "Well, sorry, but the closest one to you is now closed. To find out the next one, click here and we'll see the next closest one. The next closest one, Stoughton, Mass, or Braintree. I'm like, it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
You gotta really be craving that Jack Daniel's glaze to jump in your car.
See, and
drive.
that's
Yeah.
what I liked about TGI Fridays
That's
was,
what everyone
was the
liked
Jack
about them.
Daniel's steak tips.
Yeah.
I said, if another restaurant could pick that up,
You'd be great.
that'd be get that on the menu. I'm like, my funny Jack Daniel's story. No, my funny TGI Fridays story is the only restaurant where I have gone to eat and left my credit card with them and didn't realize it until the next day.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm missing a credit card. Uh-oh. And I'm like, no, where did I last use it? And then they're going through your head. All right, I think I know where it is. And I went there, and they had it.
Yeah.
That's only happened to you once.
It's only happened to
to me
the
like
waiter.
You're
once
pretty
a week.
responsible.
The waiter and waitress, they bring over that leather-bound
Right.
thing with the bill in it. And
Right.
they get your credit card sticking out of the top. So
Yep.
you get out the bill, the check, you sign your name, you put down the tip, and you add it all together, and you just hand it back. Here you go, thanks. Okay, bye.
Right.
And you walk away. And I just never took the credit card out of the little thing. But I did say, I said, I can't have been the first person to do this,
Yeah.
but I think I left my credit card here. Here's my ID.
Yep.
And they went in the back, and here it is.
Yeah.
I often wonder how restaurants. See, I always think it's people just get bored with going and doing the same thing, right? Going to the same place, it's the same atmosphere, it's the same food selection, it's the same everything. And you look at TGI Fridays and go, well, I can see how that would happen there. Outback, I can see how that would happen there. But how do places like Cracker Barrel, who have the same exact menu all forever, they have the same style, the same atmosphere, the same brand, nothing ever changes there, and they continue to succeed.
But are
And-
they as busy for like lunch and dinner as breakfast? I feel like with breakfast you just can't screw it up. Like you can't
really
go wrong.
can't.
And so I just feel like a Cracker Barrel as an example. Like
Yeah.
you can never screw up breakfast. If anything, they might drop a lunch dinner if they're not busy, but keep it,
Right.
But yeah, yeah.
But you can
TGI
always have
Fridays-
breakfast at dinner time at Cracker Barrel.
True.
Oh, I've
That's-
never done that. But
Yeah.
yep, that's
yes,
true.
You can.
That's
so if you
true.
don't want the meatloaf or the pot pie that they're offering,
Right.
you can always go back to the
Well, they're
pancakes.
smart
Or
too
the-
because they're strategically
the biscuit and
positioned
gravy.
like,
Yeah.
off big highways, and the only time I ever
sure.
think for Cracker Barrel is if we're like on a road trip.
Right. On the way to Florida.
on
hey, let's
our
just
way to
stop at
Western
Cracker Barrel.
Mass, like stop.
We stayed at a hotel,
Mass
and
Pike.
there's the Cracker Barrel right there.
There's one
Exactly.
there's one in Rentham, you know.
I
I
know,
know,
there is.
and I don't ever go to that one.
No?
I know.
No, because
There
I'm not
is-
traveling to Rentham. But
That's
it's if
true.
I
But
go
it's
out to the
not- it's-
Berkshires, I
it's
hit
not
the
that-
one that's.
It's not that far.
But I don't.
It's
I
Rhode Island.
Go
It's
to
always that
local
far.
breakfast at that point.
It's
you
out of
know?
state.
It's out of state, Joe. Come on. Pack a lunch.
I have to
Anyway.
say that probably is like answering your question about like kind of what happens with these trends. I mean, anything even with big box stores too. You go back in your mind to like Ames, Caldor, whatever. There's always that reinvention.
Mm-hmm.
So chain restaurants, we're just moving on to probably new chains. But I don't know about you all, but probably in the last 10 years, like I look for local, unique versus
Yeah.
Right.
kind of that prefab, pre-portioned,
Right.
maybe even pre-cooked and just reheated, like
Yeah.
bagged salads versus fresh salads, like all those things. Honestly, like my stomach doesn't agree with some of them. So you're kind of looking for maybe that homemade meal versus.
All right. The last couple of times I've been at the TGI Fridays in Mansfield, not hopping. All right, a little busy in the bar area. I don't know if there was a certain sport on that people wanted to watch, but I'm looking at that compared to the dinner sitting area. I go,
Yeah.
it's just not that busy. And
not busy.
it was a Friday or a Saturday. I'm like, and I wonder if they're doing okay. And that must be indicative of the other places as well. I'm like,
Are there too many restaurants? Sometimes you think on Saturday nights and Friday nights there's not enough restaurants because you can
Yeah.
never get a seat anywhere. And then, it's like those are the times you go. So in your mind, you're thinking, yes, restaurants are super busy.
Yeah,
But
so I
the
won't
reality
go.
is the beginning of the week through that time period, like up till Friday and Saturday, they're probably really not that busy.
I don't know. In my mind, I go back to TGI Fridays as a kid, early 80s, mid 80s. I want
Yeah.
to say the Warwick location opened up. That was like the first one in the area that I remember.
Right.
It was a big deal for my family to go down there, put our name in, and you would wait like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That lobby was packed. People don't want to wait anymore.
Nope.
There's the call ahead piece too, right? We're just impatient. We don't know how to make it an experience of
No, it's
going
probably
down there.
all
And
that.
it was like, yeah, you were out for like 3 hours on a Friday night between waiting for your, opportunity to go in, service, etc. It was hopping. People don't like busy restaurants anymore. They don't like to wait. We're just snobs, I
We are.
think. Are we snobs?
Well, I
Little
just
bit?
think we're the immediate gratification society where you can
Yeah.
get things immediately, which that Amazon defies logic in that
True.
Yes.
sense, right?
Yeah.
Although I did order something one day and had it delivered the next, which was amazing to me. Like ordered it at night and had it delivered the next. And I think there's some things you can order and get the same day.
Yeah.
Depending on how close you are to the distribution center.
Right.
Right.
That just stuns me. But you're probably right, Melissa. There's not a lot of patience to do
Prices
things.
matter too. Like if I'm gonna, you said steak is your favorite thing there. Let's assume I don't even know. I haven't bought. If I go to Fridays, it was for a juicy Jack Daniel's burger.
All right.
Or even a burger, for example. You're paying like $15 at this point for a
Mm-hmm.
burger and fries in a restaurant like TGI Fridays. I say to myself, I love Lucky Dog down the street from my house.
Right.
I'd rather go over to Lucky Dog, float them some business for the same price, probably maybe even a better burger.
And that's
You
one
know,
of
and
those
it's
places
that.
that
You
every
weigh it
time
out.
I've gone to, I've either not been able to get in,
You have
or
to,
I've or just waited forever. And it's like the food is delicious, so that's the sacrifice that one makes. If
Oh
they
yeah, you
want
got to
good
get it to
food.
go. I will do a quick PSA for them. They know how to do takeout. They have figured out the art, and this was really during the pandemic. We figured this out. Well, I also don't live too far away from it, but their portions are huge, but their containers hold the heat
The right-
so
without getting
well,
sweaty.
without
Right.
getting like mushy.
Oh, yeah.
So that your
Mush, yeah.
fries are all
They
soaked.
have this like St. Louis ribs meal thing. My husband and I will just share it because there's just so much food. But however they package it and we get it home, and it is piping hot. It is perfectly cooked. It didn't get, but whatever it is, try the takeout.
All right.
It is an option.
All
Give
right.
that a whirl.
I'm hoping I just built in like a free meal with them for spending 10 minutes on this. And sorry,
Hey, you're the one on the air.
Sorry,
You talked
TGI
about us.
Fridays.
Well, they're closing anyway. Don't
I
worry about
know. I know.
that. That's not our fault.
That's right. So, all right. Other things going on is that the president of Harvard University has finally decided to resign.
Resigned.
Like, wow.
Well, yeah.
After all that staunch,
And
I will not. I
and
will
it's-
not. I will not.
And it's because of her academic citations on her
It's her plagiarism.
right.
Yeah.
And
And her lack of answering the questions.
well, that's the fun. They don't talk about that,
Yeah.
but I think that's the bigger pressure. I think this is the technical way they got her to resign was
Mm-hmm.
the plagiarism thing. But I think there were a lot of people that, based on her answers
Yes,
in
at
front of Congress, they wanted her gone for that.
She's already crying racism.
Of course she is.
Oh, I
It's
don't
kind
know.
of
I
the,
go
the
sad.
woman from the University of Pennsylvania who resigned
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
weeks before. She was white. No racism
Oh,
there.
I know. Yeah, but this is me.
Well, I know. I'm just saying that I don't think you can claim that as racism. That is just.
I don't either.
I mean,
It's just
But she already
unfortunate. You
is,
go from
so.
like in 6 months' time, you go from like, oh my gosh, like I'm the first, black person, the first female president of this institution, like high as a kite to 6 months later. I don't know that she saw this coming. And
well, I
it's
think
just-
it was I just found, and this is just me, and it's always personal, but I found those answers that she gave to be very smug and condescending, and you've asked me this question, Congressman. I'm going to answer it the same way. It depends on the context of the
See,
situation.
it's a yes or no
Yeah,
question.
it's a yes or no question, and she kept
It's
trying to
an
make the
answer.
congresswoman sound
Yeah.
like feel like she or appear as if she's being some sort of petty, questionnaire.
Well,
and
I'm
it just
the,
no.
I'm the intellectual education person here, and I'm
Yeah,
making you
I'm
look
the.
stupid.
That's the thing. I'm the elite educational.
That's right.
I'm the
I'm
president
from Harvard.
of Harvard.
That's
Like,
right.
yeah, that means nothing. Nothing.
I also thought about that. I go, will that impact kids applying to Harvard?
I
trying
think-
to get in.
I think her answers probably have impacted this year for sure.
You think so?
I do.
Okay.
Full of applicants.
I think there'll be a lot of Jewish families going, I'm not going to send my kid to Harvard.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to because it's it's supposedly a great school.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other great schools out there that I can send my kid to that I don't experience anti-Semitism quite like they are in
At Harvard.
Brown,
Yeah.
Harvard, Yale. All the Ivy League schools seem to have this problem.
Yeah.
And it really drives me up a wall because they're the first ones that'll come out and pigeonhole everybody else in the world for things that they do. Wow.
Well, I'd like to see those statistics to see,
we'll see.
what with the number of applicants to Harvard. Was it down from past years?
Yeah, I don't know. So when did that happen during? So they would have already applied. No, they would be applying now.
Some go for early
Right.
applications, and
Right.
others got to get their applications in by February or
was-
March.
that was November,
And
December.
or is this a window of opportunity if I'm a graduating student and I'm Jewish to say, hey, I didn't think maybe my chances of getting in were going to be that great, but knowing some people may not apply anymore, but also knowing there's going to be a new president, there's going
Right.
to have to be a culture shift.
Right.
Let me get my
Let me get
application
right in
in
there now.
now
Right.
because my acceptance opportunity might be greater than
That's
it
true.
would have been in
Yep.
the pool before.
Or are they going to pick someone that was cut from the same cloth as the one they just,
I don't know.
or the one that just resigned?
It seems like being a new parent into this whole process of acceptance ratios and percentages, and you're just dumped into a database, and it's populated a certain way, and every school trends seem to be going up and down based on race and ethnicity, and I mean, there's a lot of factors to take into account, sexuality, et cetera. It's no longer just grades
Academics.
and academics and extracurriculars that plays a role in it, but
Right.
it seems like even the kids that are a shoe-in that may have a lot of boxes checked are not getting into some institutions that you would have thought, BC being one of them. It's one of the hardest schools to get into.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anymore because
Right.
it seems like there's just
My daughter, when she went in to WPI, she was not originally looking to WPI. She got a free application, so she filled it out. Then she got accepted, and when we went there, they made it a point to say, listen, our male to female numbers are way bad, and we want them better.
want more females,
So
yeah.
we want a 60-40 ratio women to men. So we're going to throw a lot of money at the women that
course.
year, and that's what they did. They threw a lot of scholarship stuff at my daughter, and so that's probably the biggest reason why she ended up
that is
going.
a big trend. Is the specific industries that that need female, like engineering being one of them.
You know
Obviously,
what's funny?
technology.
So now we've got some folks that go to WPI that we know, and it's back the other way again.
It is.
It's like 70-30, and like
Male
why?
to female?
Yeah,
So
like
we
why
just
is
had
that?
this conversation this weekend. So my brother-in-law works at Regis College. He just left Assumption. He's over at Regis College now. My husband, obviously, I've shared, works at Holy Cross, and we got into this tangled conversation with my nephew, who's a student at Villanova, and they were talking about all of these numbers and conversations were coming up with my daughter, who's going to be looking at schools this year, and they were talking about the fact that most institutions right now are overpopulated with women because they did so much targeting of females to bring them into college that now there's more men going into trade opportunities and not going to college, that the marketing for college has shifted at a lot of these institutions to bring up the population of males. Holy Cross, more women. Villanova now, more women. So they're trying to balance out the gender again.
Yeah.
So yeah, you
And
don't
the
know
other
what's
way.
going to go into it.
Wow.
It's crazy.
It is. It is. All right, we're going to take a break, our first break here on the Coffee and program. So, Melissa, time for a second message, please, from the St. Antoine communities.
Yeah, so I've kind of dangled a little bit of information and planted the seed over the last year or so that we've been working on a new project at St. Antoine Community, and I kind of feel like I'm in a position to start sharing a little bit more. We have a whole unit, 24 bed unit located at St. Antoine Residence that we are going to be opening in hopefully April. It may move to May, we'll see. But right now the goal is for April 1st as a dedicated memory care assisted living unit. We did a needs assessment a couple years ago. We applied for a legislative grant right in the peak of the pandemic. A lot of institutions were asked to kind of take a look at what your needs are, see how we can kind of support long-term care facilities and support needs in your community. And one of the identifying needs we had were memory care and affordable memory care at that. So we are going to making this a 40% occupancy Medicaid waiver memory care assisted living, which is really unheard of in Rhode Island overall, but more importantly in Northern Rhode Island. I don't need to share with you all the places that are available in Northern Rhode Island for memory care that are private pay only, but it is really unfortunate that when those folks who have the greatest need run out of funds, have to move into a whole new facility to match that need at an affordable rate or if not state benefits. So we're going to be offering that and it's going to be pretty phenomenal and it's going to be brand new, obviously, kind of cutting edge for our part of the state. It's not a cutting edge concept, but for our part of the state anyways. So we're really hoping to start to market it as such and help those that are up here finally get the support that they need and not have a financial barrier for that. So more information to come, but if you have someone that you're thinking by maybe April, May, might be a good fit for this type of support, reach out to me at 401-767-3500. Again, my name is Melissa Smith, so ask for me by name and they will direct you to me. Thank you.
All right, very good there, Melissa. More of the Coffee and program coming up. We have a couple of messages to get to, and we will. We can get to yours as well, 766-1240 when we come back.
A message from the Carew Investment Group, 68 Cumberland Street, at the corner of Clinton and Cumberland Streets here in Woonsocket. The Carew Investment Group offers you personal management of investment accounts. Depending on what you're looking for, whether it be to enhance your current income, a 401k rollover, or retirement income, we'll put together a plan for you. We focus on using quality dividend-paying stocks of companies that you know, investment quality bonds, exchange-traded funds, and use the advantages offered by IRAs. You can contact Paul or Ed at the Carew Investment Group anytime for a free no-obligation portfolio review at 765-8880. Our office is at 68 Cumberland Street in Woonsocket, and our telephone number again is 765-8880. You can also email Ed at ed@carewinvestmentgroup.com or visit the website at www.carewinvestmentgroup.com. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
When you're thinking about a place to go out to eat with your family or the whole gang, or maybe something quieter for just the two of you, head over to ON Radio's website, woonsocketradio.com, and click on the restaurant guide. This gives you a listing of the best restaurants in the area. You can take a look at menus and possibly even make reservations. This is a great resource to see a bunch of restaurants all in one place. Remember, it's woonsocketradio.com and click on Restaurant Guide. And if you own a restaurant that's not already listed, call WOON Radio at 401-762-1240 for information on how your restaurant can be on the Restaurant Guide. Call Joe at 401-762-1240. The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
We're local and live at 99.5.
It is Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Tim Draper and Melissa Smith. John Ward has this week off, and we got a note to get to, 766-1240, completely different subject. The ugly migrant problem continues. It is now a major crisis. We have created it. As the saying goes, there is a sucker born every minute. And I actually saw it pretty funny, because sometimes you just deal with sad situations like this with humor on Facebook. It said, and with the snow coming this weekend, be careful out there driving. There are 7 million new illegal drivers that'll be on the road this winter. I'm like, now it was meant to be funny, but I said, boy, there's a lot of truth in that joke. And there are going to be a lot of people that have they've come up from southern climates and wait till the snow hits the ground and they start trying to drive on this stuff.
Right.
Yikes.
I don't. Yeah.
And our girls.
Yeah.
And the girls, so they're all grouped together.
Oh, the teenage drivers, new drivers.
Best thing you can do is
people in their 30s.
Oh, yeah.
When I was a kid and learning how to drive, my father didn't take me. I did this on my own, but went to an open parking lot after a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And just drove and hit the brakes and skidded
happened.
around
Skid
and turned the wheel
Yep.
and slid the car. I wanted to feel what that felt like,
Yep.
so I would have a better understanding of how I was gonna react to it. I found that to be very helpful.
Very helpful.
Yep.
That's my plan Saturday night. My
Is
daughter
it?
has
Yep.
to work until 9 o'clock.
Yep.
I already said to my husband, I'm like, if the snow has started, which
Let's
it's
go
supposed
out
to start
and-
by that point, I'm like, I'll drop you off at her job. You drive home with her,
Yep.
but you hit these lots along the way and do everyone's got to do the figure eights, donuts,
Right.
whatever, just to get that understanding, that whole
Hit the
pump the brake
brakes.
versus hitting them hard philosophy.
Right.
Yeah, tap, tap, tap.
I'm trying to remember my driving instructor in Cumberland. He was a PE teacher at Cumberland
Anthony
High.
Krostek?
Tony Krostek. That's right. Great guy. He actually said you should go do skidding practice.
Yeah, that's where we
all said. We all said, I know you all think I'm nuts.
Yeah.
But have your parents take you out and do skidding
Right.
practice, so you know. And obviously not on the road.
Right.
But
Don't do it on the road. Find an
an
empty parking lot.
and just
Oh,
and
it's
see
true.
what happens. It's
Right.
like, wow,
And
what a
then
great idea.
your next test should be you're Massachusetts. You're probably not as familiar with Route 7. I'm sure
Well,
you
I
are
am.
because you're right up
Oh,
at
yeah.
Route 7.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So
I used to
Route
drive
7
to
from
North
Bryant
Providence.
down to North
Yeah.
Providence. So I lived right off of Route 7, Lime Rock Road growing up. And so my dad was like, we'll start at the high point of Route 7, which was right around Bryan. He's like, and we're going to drive down. And there's like a nice little gradual pitch coming down right near the 295 exits.
Yeah.
He's like, it's wide enough. So if you lose control or whatever, it treated it like sledding.
Yeah.
I think like sledding essentially,
sledding.
where
Yeah.
he's like, we'll have enough time to rebound if you were to slide or whatever. You've got enough room to. So we went to the right hand lane, and that's exactly what we did. He's like, I want you to hit it hard. I want you to hit it gently. We're gonna try both.
Yep.
So sharing that out loud. Once you've graduated from the parking lot, the next step should be Route
See what it's like on the
7,
highway.
All right.
Yep, 295 area over there, and just let it roll.
Right.
But with the migrant issue, you know what I've seen also online recently, and there's whole groups of places in the United States that have abandoned housing, like at military bases. Why isn't that being used? Now, obviously, you got to bump it up to code, and some of them have deteriorated. But there's hundreds of homes
I have no idea.
that are just there, and I'm sure the critters in the area are loving the free housing and the warmth
I
and the
know.
covering they get, but that could be used.
It could be. You're also going to have, not to tap into my own industry and other issues we're dealing with, but there's several long-term care facilities that are closing and emptying out, and you're going to have space in those buildings as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. People said for years, I used to work for Care New England when Memorial Hospital emptied out. Like
It's still
empty. Like for how long? I mean, why not? So now it's probably invested. Well, it was even before, but I'm sure.
Great.
I mean, they had wings closed long before, years before they officially closed. But yeah, it's all those vacancies. Like we need to think out of the box and creatively. Yeah, I don't know.
This was years ago, driving down to Newport, and my parents pointing out all the housing for the Navy that was down
Yeah.
in Portsmouth
Oh, yeah.
and Middletown that was empty.
Empty.
Yeah.
And this is in the 80s.
Yeah.
He goes, why isn't this being repurposed for whatever
Right.
at the time? And
Sold.
I
to just,
don't know.
I know.
It's just sitting there.
Yeah. It's
So-
a complex issue. No doubt about it.
I guess so. Another note, another different topic, just an example of where modern technology is taking a back seat. So they went online, they needed to submit a change of address form through the U.S. Postal Service. And after a plethora of questions like a test, they refused my application. Why? Because I typed in my full name with lowercase letters. A 15-minute questionnaire to no avail, and they charged me. I don't know how much it costs to change your address.
Oh my God.
I never done it online. I've always went to the
In
post
person.
office.
Well, there's a lot,
filled
there's,
out the card, and here you
right.
go.
there's some danger to doing it online, especially if you're compromised. It means anybody can change your address on you, which you
Yeah.
don't want them
Yeah.
to do. So there's a lot of validation and verification that needs to take place. We have to, if somebody changes their address, we have to actually, I think the process still is that once they make the change, we still have to notify them via mail, like snail mail. Hey, you've had an address change on your record. If this is not correct, let us know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is your
Yeah.
verification that it was done. But yeah, because it's just way too easy to change somebody's address.
I guess so.
If they don't do that.
Yeah. I guess that's the plethora of questions to make sure it's really you.
Right, right. The 24 validation questions. But
Mother's maiden name, what's your elementary school name?
Well, it depends on what you want. Sometimes they'll ask you, where have you ever lived on any of the following streets?
Yes,
They're
I've
literally
seen
pulling off
that.
your credit report
Oh, yeah.
on where you've lived, and
Yeah.
they're trying to figure out, if you're who you say you are.
Yep, that one looks familiar. All right, there was a car accident on Tuesday night. And it was a rollover on 99, and they were hanging over the bridge on the 146.
Really?
I
Yes.
didn't know
Oh
that.
boy.
Hanging on Route 99, going southbound on the Route 146 overpass. The operator suffered minor injuries. Okay,
Oh, how
didn't
lucky.
say who it was. Route 99 South was closed for about 45 minutes while the crews worked to remove the car. It's still under an investigation because they're just not sure what led to the car hanging over. Could
yeah.
be speed, could be alcohol, could be drugs.
Could be that because you're coming right off that corner.
Could have hit ice.
Yeah, you're coming right
That's-
around that
that's
corner.
another
So
one.
when
The
you-
speed could have been a factor.
she was
He,
in
she.
the vehicle hanging
Yes.
over the side.
Yes.
That's a post-traumatic
How-
stress for the rest of your life.
How scary is that?
Oh,
Right.
that's awful.
Right. Yikes.
That's like out of a Hollywood movie, like the whole you move an inch and you hear the car creak,
Yeah, creak,
Right.
creak.
creak. I'm
Right.
like,
Everybody lean back and get their way to the
oh
back
my
of the car.
God.
That's right.
So in that situation, are you happy that you're hanging? before you fall, or you just want to keep going right over?
Oh, no,
What's
I'd be
the
happy
best-
I was hanging because I would try to figure out how to get to the back seat as fast as possible. And shift the weight
I
to the
can't
back of the
even
car.
put myself into the scenario without freaking
I'd be
out.
I'd be
Too many times in a movie have I seen that. so.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I'd be too afraid to move.
And then the bird lands on the hood.
Yeah,
There's just
right.
enough time to-
Just enough to send it over the edge. Sounds like a Bond
Sorry,
movie.
we're so inappropriate
Oh, I know.
sometimes.
Well, not bad for New Year's Day weekend. Rhode Island State Police say they made it close to 20 DUI arrests.
That's down from.
Well, I didn't say it
previous
was down. I said it's not bad.
years? Yeah. Well,
20 is not bad. So between Friday and Sunday, 6 p.m., Friday to Sunday at 6 p.m., 11 people were arrested. There were 6 more between Sunday night and Monday for a total of 17 facing DUI charges throughout the state.
Yeah.
It doesn't say where the majority was. And
So only
I don't
20
have
idiots out on
Right.
New Year's Eve. So that's great.
20 that were caught.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
So you don't have how many more idiots were out there.
We were stayed put.
Your daughter staying too?
We were in Maine for New Year's Eve,
All right.
and I have to tell you, so I was going to share this with you off the air, but I might as well make it another like public service announcement, so you all can just piggyback on my plans that are fantastic. Because I wish I had thought of this sooner, because I had no idea that LL Bean up in Freeport. I don't know if you're familiar with the area up there, but we've gone a couple years in a row just after Christmas, a few nights. There's a Hilton there that's very inexpensive in the winter season. Now they're of course going to triple in rates as soon as I mention this. I mean, we've been able to stay there for about 120, 130 a night.
For the four of you?
Pool on site, yep, pool on site and everything, and you're walking distance to the outlets on that strip, which include LL Bean, which is
Their flagship
ginormous.
store.
Right.
But the important part of the story was, yes, you can go up there, stay pretty cheap. There's a lot of breweries up there, restaurants up there. The kids can kind of do their own thing. You can do your own thing if they're of age. But this is the first time we've ever stayed over New Year's, and I had no idea how much LL Bean does during the 2 days leading up to New Year's Eve for free for family fun activities. They had curling, they had craft bars, they had hot chocolate bars, they had, especially on New Year's Eve day, they had back-to-back like musicians, entertainers, bands, whatever. It was slammed.
party.
Like I've never seen. I was like, whoa. It was so magical. I mean, obviously, LL Bean knows how to do it up, almost Disneylandish, like just beautifully decorated. Felt so festive. Like I jokingly said, "Cue the snow," and literally, Mother Nature cooperated. It wasn't LL Bean, and it was snowing, and it was just so beautiful. But I thought to myself, all of these families seem to know about this. How come I didn't know about this
Right.
years ago when
Because
the
it's,
kids
a keep-
were little?
it's a secret for
It's
Mainers.
a main thing.
You know, and so I just
You
sharing
don't
that
want
if
to
you
tell the outsiders.
when you have little kids, you do struggle with what to do on New Year's. You know, they kind of crash early, whatever. So all of their festivities led up to 6 o'clock. I guess once upon a time they used to do fireworks at 6 o'clock with the countdown. They no longer do that. I think they are respectful of like kids with sensitivity issues, so they do more of like a countdown with lights and lasers and things like that. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. And so between stopping in Portland on the way up, Portland has an amazing museum for kids there. There's a brewery right there for families to go and enjoy on their side of the restaurant. So all family fun again, and kids going to eat lunch thereafter. I just felt like we hit all these little kid things along the way with older kids, and it was a little laugh out loud moment for us. But sharing to you all out there that if you want a low-key, inexpensive way to celebrate New Year safely, head north.
Remember this for next year.
Yeah, head north.
All right. Time for a break here on Coffee and more coming your way. Time for the forecast being brought to you by Mothers Against... Apropos, Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Right.
Mostly sunny skies today with a high near 43 and a light breeze out of the west. Tonight, increasingly cloudy, overnight low of 27. Thursday weather, we start cloudy and then become mostly sunny in the afternoon with a high of 41. Friday, sunshine and 35. Saturday, mostly cloudy from the beginning with a high of 37. Saturday night, snow begins to fall and mixed with rain at first. Low of 28 degrees, 80% chance of snow with winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour Saturday night. On Sunday, snow possibly mixed with rain again, becoming all snow after 10 in the morning. High of 36. Breezy with winds kicking up to 30 miles an hour during the day on Sunday, 80% chance of snow Sunday. Monday, mostly sunny skies with a high of 38. Tuesday, mostly cloudy, high of 43.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, where we do have mostly clear skies, and 32 degrees. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone, and you always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love. For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, it's ON Radio's Cruz and Bruce Palmer inviting you to join me for the Saturday Block Party. It's every Saturday from 4 until 7 p.m. when we fill the airwaves with the songs you want to hear. It's a party in every sense of the word, so join me live on 99.5 and 1240 a.m. or bring the show with you wherever you go at onworldwide.com.
All right, Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper. And Tim, time for your first message from Navigant Credit Union.
So it's a new year, and with that, all the resolutions that are out there, and I know everybody's got big plans about losing weight and probably doing some.
I want to put more on.
No, I'm gonna. I wish I was. I wish I
You
could.
never hear that.
I don't need the resolve for that. That's just happening. But it's a good time to start thinking about your financial future and your financial well-being, and that may start with a kind of an evaluation of where you're at with your money and your savings and your retirement if you're starting to think about that. And if you need any help with those questions, our team at Navigant Credit Union is certainly trained to help you through just thinking through a budget. Some of the basics. And if you have more sophisticated questions, we do have a financial services department that if you're a member of Navigant Credit Union, the first financial consult is free of charge. And then whatever you decide to do with our financial advisors, and they are a group of great folks, they'll help you plan out your financial future so that at some time down the road, you'll feel comfortable in your retirement. But in the meantime, again, any simple questions you have, evaluating where your current situation is, 233-4700. That's our contact center in Smithfield, Rhode Island, Lincoln Smithfield line. And if you want to come in and talk to any of our folks, we have 25 branch locations throughout the state. Our newest is in Providence, Rhode Island, but our closest here is in the beautiful city of Woonsocket. So give us a call.
I think
Very
you
good.
should do a whole new smear marketing ad
Smear.
for January about, all the folks doing dry January and what you can do with your investment and savings and not purchasing alcohol. and how you
point.
can make a little nest egg in 1 month's time.
Yeah, well,
with
I could make a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we've
That's-
decided to make that
that's-
jump this month in our household. And I said to my husband, I'm like, think of all the money you're going to save. Not that we drink a lot, but you go out to eat even. Like
Oh, yeah.
a couple beers adds like an extra $20 onto your tab
Yeah,
or
$14 for a glass of wine.
hitting the packing store on a Friday
bottle of
before the
wine.
weekend, a couple bottles of wine. Yeah, it adds up. So for a whole month, what can you do with that money? There you go, Tim.
All right, there we go. That's the question of the day.
You want to write that down?
Oh, I got it. It's
All right,
remember.
very good. Well, the first new baby of the year was born at Women and Infants Hospital in Providence on Monday morning at 2:50 in the morning.
Wow, that's kind of
Yeah.
late.
Well,
I feel like that's kind of late.
Usually
They
they're like right at the.
usually it's right close to midnight. Artemio Pineda Murillian came in at just over 10 pounds.
Wow.
Oh,
Is that-
wow.
is that a
Nice,
good size?
healthy size
There was
baby.
a twins. Where
Yeah,
were
this
they
was,
born?
I got that story.
Oh,
yeah.
you do?
New
Oh, yeah,
Jersey
one-
and Connecticut, and it happened both. That the one baby was born at 11:58, and then the sibling was born at like 12:02.
Right. So they technically have different
they're
birthdays.
Different days. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Didn't
that
there
happened.
used to be a why did I think there was like a scholarship or something for the first baby born in the new year in Rhode Island? Why did I think there was some incentive?
It could have been, but
Wait a minute.
Then it no longer
Yeah.
happens.
going away. Yeah. I guess.
I didn't have to worry about it.
Wow.
Now you just.
I know.
yeah,
I was not even close to it
just,
either. But
congratulations, and that's you
Little
now.
pat on the
Yeah.
back and
I know. Here's
news
a
story.
free pack of diapers from
Joe
the
mentioned
hospital.
you on the radio.
Yes, that's right. Well, I don't know if you people have been to any kind of medical places lately, but they're all saying put the masks back on,
I know.
please.
Right. We went to. I was telling you about my Rhode Island hospital visit, but it's funny because the next day, Lifespan put it. I think they put into practice. You got to wear a mask again. Was it the next day or the day after that? But
Yep.
They're saying
Yeah.
it's the rise of
Mm.
COVID's up,
Yep.
COVID's up.
RSV is up,
Yep.
and flu is up.
Yep. And then
So-
all those other random virus 1, virus 2, like there's all these other strains of just annoying,
Right.
elongated colds, essentially.
Right.
There's just a lot out there.
Yeah, I'm just getting over my cold too. And it was frustrating because I didn't feel bad. Just my sinuses were really
Couldn't breathe.
bad. One night, the pressure just built up behind my cheeks. Oh my goodness, this is so bad.
It's awful. Yep.
Right. Took a Mucinex, so that stuff's awesome.
It's amazing.
That is-
Talk about
that is
product plugging
amazing
on
stuff.
this show today. We have been
Right.
doing a lot of product
Anybody's got
plugging.
a cold and sinus trouble, go grab
That's
some
the
daytime
stuff.
Mucinex. Wow.
And the other thing
I
that's
like that
super
little-
gross but
that little
super
character
productive
there.
is the neti pot. Like I'm
Oh.
sorry, but
Yeah.
it is.
Do that?
I tried to convince my daughter to use it this week, and that was not happening. But
I feel like I was drowning.
it does. But my gosh, the relief that you get and your sinuses come right down.
Yeah.
So when you're desperate,
Right.
it does work. Don't think less of me, by the way.
I don't think less
want
of
you
you.
to,
I
to
don't
try
think
to
less of you.
visualize me using
No,
it either, but
but it's funny to visualize that. I don't think less of you. I just think it's funny to visualize you.
it's not glamorous. It is
Mm.
not glamorous, I will tell you.
Curlers in her hair, neti pot.
Oh, that's a
Pimple cream
big-
all over my
pleasant.
face.
Big house coat.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm a moo wearer. I wear moo It's fine.
Oh, where is John when we need him?
That is a success to or that is the key to a
Compliment
successful
to our-
marriage is
right.
a moo
Right,
I
a
will
moo.
tell you.
I don't know if this affects your businesses, but in Rhode Island, the new ban on plastic bags went into effect on January 1st.
Yeah.
Yep.
All paper.
Right.
Does that affect
It's
either
single-use
one?
plastic bags.
That's correct.
because Dave's. I said, Dave, somebody has these very thick plastic bags now that they're multi-use plastic
Target
bags.
does. Target's got those.
Is that
Those
maybe,
are
maybe it's Target.
those are okay.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're much thicker than the other ones.
Like the
I mean,
canvas
Yeah.
sack feeling ones, they're like a thin version of a.
no, this is plastic.
Oh, okay. Because
This is a-
Brigido's has like a thick, like woven type bag, but it's not like the kind that you can buy at the store for like 50 cents or $1 or whatever. They're in between, and those are what they give you now.
I just thought it funny
Like a sack.
that you would give somebody a multi-use plastic bag so they
Mm.
could bring it back and use it again. But when you go to throw those things out, they're going to take 4 times as long to disintegrate into the earth as the other ones did.
Mm.
So I'm like, what's the point of this? It's the canvas bags. Really, it's get a bag and bring it with you to the store and
Yeah.
fill it and bring it home. And I've got a bunch of those. So and that's what we've become accustomed to using. Even in Target, we'll just go in with those bags and come out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then
Yep.
they get a little gross after a while.
Well,
It's
but they're
it's
so
it's
cheap.
convenience.
You're right. They're cheap. You just replace them.
I hate to say it, but I feel like I really am go green. I am totally like environmentally friendly in most areas of my life, but there is a convenience factor to having a bag in a store, and you do like sometimes just on the fly, and then you're sitting there with groceries, and you're like, "Am I supposed to carry all these out like by hands?" And sometimes you just give me a stupid bag. Like this is
Right.
ridiculous.
Well, some people say just throw everything back in the carriage.
I
Just
know. Well, you know,
walk it on. I'll
right?
throw it all in the car, and I'll make 20
recycled-
trips back and forth to get them
know.
inside.
Recycled paper bags.
I
We
know.
use those too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, single-use plastic bags gone in the state of Rhode Island. And you always read every now and then funny stuff on Facebook. You know, I go to the store to buy a loaf of bread, which is packaged in plastic,
It
Yeah.
is, yep.
and then you go to the deli to pick up some meat and some cheese packed in
in
plastic, but you can't have a plastic bag to
Right.
carry it out.
Right.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well, it's the way of the world.
It is.
know.
It is. So there was it's in the front page of today's Call in Times. We had a stabbing over here at Park Square, where the
Oh,
Ocean
you
State
saw,
Job
yeah,
Lot is.
yeah.
The man arrested is from Arizona.
Really?
Yes, driving a car with New Mexico plates.
What was he doing in
Oh,
Woonsocket?
good God.
That hasn't been determined yet. Same
Interesting.
thing if you stab someone in Arizona. What are you doing here from Rhode Island? Well, visiting, I guess.
Right.
The person he stabs from Mansfield. I don't know them. And then he took off, and not the Mansfield guy, the guy from Arizona.
Was it over by Dollar Tree? Is
He
that
went
where that
to yes, and he went over to Dowling Village and
Yep.
swung around and came back down Park Ave
Wow.
and went down Blue and then ran a stop sign and crashed his car. So that's how they got him.
That's how they stopped it. Well,
Hurt two other people in another car though.
that's not good.
Yeah, and they're going to be okay. Everybody's going to be okay, but it's just surprise. You're right. It's just surprising to find out that the man that did the
Arizona.
allegedly stabbing is from Arizona.
Well, is it relatives in Woonsocket, maybe? I don't know.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Yep. And now we have 4 people so far that are running for city council.
Right.
Yeah.
City council seat here in the
So,
city of Woonsocket. I got to get their names right.
know
Dan
Dan
Gendron
is, yep.
one. Adam Brunetti is the other. He's currently the chair of the Downtown Woonsocket Collaborative and on other things as well. Former U.S. Marine Christopher Mellon is also running. He's the Chief Information Security Officer for the Boston-based biotech company, Fori Biotech Company. And there's a fourth person, Keith Harrison, that is running as well. He tried
2
to
out of
do
4.
he tried to do a write-in campaign to be mayor, and
This is all for the one spot, right?
all for the one spot.
And then that is this is where we need John again.
Yep.
And then there's a regular election in the fall, right?
Yes.
For the regular for city council.
Yes, so you'll be running again.
Wow.
So city residents have until Sunday, January 7th to register or change their registration time for the city council special elections. Which are
And this
coming
is just the first place winner in this race. This is the
up. Yes.
So there's not like a runoff where they
No.
select 2 and then they have to have another
I
election.
don't believe they're going to do that for this. No. The 4 candidates now have until January 9th to get 100 signatures from city electors. Sorry, if more than 2 candidates meet that threshold, there will be a primary. So I have it completely wrong. The primary election on Tuesday, February 6th. Soccer Board of Canvassers also announced some changes to the polling locations, and you can read that on your own. So there might be a primary to get it down to 2.
Could be literally by the time they get sworn into office, they'll be running for office again.
Basically, because they'll be sworn in like March,
Right.
and then start campaigning.
Well,
again
if there's an
for
election,
the fall.
primaries in the beginning of February, you said, right?
Yes,
So then they'll have to have an election.
I thought it was
Probably
going to be
within
in
a month?
March. Yeah,
So then they start swinging in March. Yeah, yeah.
start it up again, and then we're in. Okay, you can
Election
take a month,
cycle season.
You can take a month off, and then you can start it again.
That is the one drawback to 2024. It's just going to be silly season right now. Ugh.
It's just
Even in New
election
Hampshire,
after
even
election
in New
after
Hampshire,
election.
the political ads running in New Hampshire right
Oh,
now for
yeah.
the presidential primary.
It was Chris Christie all
Right.
over the place.
Chris Christie and Nikki Haley.
Both of them.
Yeah, Nikki's ads were really prominent up there.
Wow.
And then of course there's the Trump ads that
Are there Trump
just
TV ads up there too?
Yeah, and they are so dark, and I'm going to save this mess that we're in, and just makes me want to vomit.
It's
Well, don't do that. But let's get a second message though.
Oh, all right. You want to
From,
Don't vomit.
from
All right,
Navigate
I
Credit Union,
promise not
please.
to do that then. We've talked a lot about security and fraud and keeping yourself safe and your information safe. And just want to remind folks that Navigate Credit Union will never call and ask you for information over the phone, particularly non-public information like, hey, we need your social security number. We need your credit card information because you've had your credit card's been reported lost, or there's been a fraudulent charge and we need to verify that. These are the real kind of the basic scams that are out there. We're not going to call you and ask you for that information. We may notify you that there's something suspicious and you should reach out to us, but then we will validate you with like 9 different things that should be who you are. But we're not going to call you out of the blue and ask you for information. So please don't ever give that up. And if something like that ever happens, hang up the phone, say, sure, I'll call you right back. I got to go get the information. Hang up the phone and then call Navigate Credit Union 233-4700. Tell them what's going on. And then we can, we'll see what happens from there. By the way, 233-4700. That's the only number that you should call back. And if somebody gives you a different number than that, hang up and call 223-4700 because that's the number that you should have.
There you go.
We're just asking everybody to please be safe at this time of the year because as we get lulled into a false sense of security with this kind of downtime during the year, these types of activities can become pretty prevalent. So navigancecu.org for more information, or as we said, 233-4700.
Thanks, Tim. More of Coffee and coming up. Stick around.
Whether you own a restaurant or an auto repair shop, you need as many customers as you can get. Every business does. Don't limit yourself to one newspaper. Get the power of 2 daily newspapers for the price of 1. The Blackstone Valley's Call and Times deliver customers from all over the valley with just one phone call. Phone 767-8500 for twice the effectiveness over twice the area. The Call and the Times.
Hello, this is Manny Brando. I hope you will listen to us each Sunday morning at 8:30. I will sing your favorite songs, and my wife Virginia will organize everything.
That's right, Manny. It's the Manny and Virginia show every Sunday morning at 8:30 on ON, AM, and FM radio.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
All right, it is Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper. And so we brought this up a little earlier, not on the show today, but Dave and I talked about it a little bit. Just be happy you're not living in California for many reasons.
I'm very happy I don't live
But here, there's a new law. New law went into effect in California, all right? Major retailers in California are now required, all right, by law, to have a gender-neutral toy aisle.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that at some point.
Did you?
I think, yeah.
Governor Newsom signed the bill into law back in 2021.
Yep.
Went into effect 2 days ago. Now, a major retailer is defined as having at least 500 employees. So a Walmart and Kohl's and Target,
Right.
and things like that, those people. Violations can bring a $200 fine for the first offense, up to $500 for each subsequent infraction. So we were trying to come up with gender-neutral toys.
But I don't really understand, like, toy sections in general right now don't really feel as defined as they used to be. Like, granted, it's,
Well, there's dolls in one aisle.
well, right,
Right,
but
but-
even,
and then
I
there's-
don't know, because I don't buy toys anymore, and I had to
Yeah.
get some at Christmas for,
So I
angels
have-
on giving trees, and it seemed like the toy aisles in Walmart were already sort of
Already?
blended. Like, I didn't feel as though I was always in.
This is the
that's
boys'
my
aisle.
point. Could you have Legos in on one part of the shelf and Barbies on the next part of the shelf, and because even though they're targeted towards
Yeah,
two
there's
different
already-
genders,
yeah.
they're in the same aisle, so it's a gender neutral aisle.
It already kind of feels that way. It doesn't feel like
I
it
don't
used
know.
to, where it was like pink signage
Yeah.
and then blue signage. It's really, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to go back and look at it with a fresh set of eyes.
It
but
may
it
not
didn't
be
really
as draconian as it sounds like, or as crazy as it sounds. They may
Yeah.
already be doing a lot of it, and it may just be you just can't have boys' toys in one aisle, girls' toys in the other. So you have them mixed, and who cares
feel. Yeah.
at that point?
I will share a quick
Oh, we
personal
it's got to be a law, though. Go ahead,
experience
Melissa.
from Maine this weekend, which took us a hot second to get accustomed to, but we were okay with it by the time we left Maine. Every public bathroom that we went into, it felt like, at any of the breweries or restaurants we went to, even the restaurant near the Children's Museum, etc., were gender neutral. And they almost felt like, it reminded me of college a little bit, where it's like you walk into like an open cavity, like sink washing station, and then it was just all doors.
Stalls. Okay.
Stalls. And it was a little alarming for me to let my 13-year-old into this space, knowing that like a grown 50, 60-year-old man was going to be coming, like kind of that weird moment. But then it suddenly became okay. Like it took a minute, but to get accustomed to, and I thought this is what the future is going to look like. It really felt like you're no longer going to have a women's room and a men's room, but it's going to be crossed over, and I guess we're going to have to be okay with it in some ways. You know what I mean?
I think psychologically, I still have an issue with it.
But think about the times when you had, well, maybe this wasn't the case when you had babies, that maybe you never volunteered to change their diapers, but
I did.
there's many men's bathrooms who didn't have the changing table, so that was
true.
annoying for me, and my husband always had to say, can you take the girls to the bathroom? It's like, I just want a break.
Right.
Like, can you just take them, or when they're potty training,
No
you got to bring them into the
facilities.
right
Yeah.
gender bathroom, and this sort of felt like the ease of that. Like, I saw ease for families in that type of environment.
Right. I mean, I can wrap my head around the male-female single stall bathroom. Doesn't matter what gender you are, just go in there. I mean, I feel bad for the ladies, but either way, that to me is not a big deal. It's like would be walking into the rest area on 93 in New Hampshire up in Concord, and that bathroom just being anything goes.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to
Who
go
wants to
goes
use it?
in.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I would feel about that.
The only aggravation I found, and this is a little lecture for you all boys out there listening.
Put the
is,
seat down.
My God, like not only put the seat down, but like
Clean it.
aim.
Right. But
Can we
that's what
aim
my
a
point
little
is.
better? That's my only annoyance.
And that's my point about this
honestly,
whole
was that-
thing. I mean, it's
You don't want to be told to keep it neat.
no.
And wipe the seat.
I want
You wanna
others.
be-
I want others to be neat and keep, if I have to do it, I want everybody to do it.
Oh,
All right, but
sorry,
if
that
it's-
was a complete different direction, but similar tone. Like I feel like that normalization of shared genders is going to keep coming up. Like it's that.
But if getting back to gender neutral toy
Toys,
aisles, does the toy have to be gender neutral? Is that what they're trying to get at? So that you can't have Barbie.
Right.
In
But
this,
that's
in
not
this
the
aisle,
big
because
box-
this is the gender neutral toy
That's
aisle.
not the big
So
box
ultimate-
store's problem. That's
But
Mattel,
not-
Hasbro. That's the
But
production.
no, it is the big box store problem because they have to put the toys in that aisle. Like Slinky is a gender neutral toy.
right.
Play-Doh,
A yo-yo.
a yo-yo is another. A Super Ball.
Right. But those
Those
are
are gender neutral toys.
right. But those are toys that the manufacturer has chosen to produce those toys, whereas
Yes.
Mattel has chosen to produce the Barbie line.
okay.
And
But
let's,
they're
and I'm
telling-
just going back because I know that'll open up a whole other can of worms. But Barbie has generally been a
women.
little girl's toy.
That's right.
And GI
Joe.
Joe has been a boy's toy, right? Made by Hasbro, made by
So
Mattel.
then
So the
they're not-
manufacturers are the ones that are making these non-gender neutral toys.
Right.
So-
but they're telling the retailer make a special spot for gender neutral toys.
Right, that aren't being made. Well, are going to be
Well,
made
some are
for
being made.
yo-yos and
Yes.
stuff like that. So
I mean,
fine.
it's not going to be very crowded.
But you
Right.
kind
So
of
maybe that's
already-
the aisle they have. They have an aisle filled with yo-yos and slinkies.
You
Yeah.
kind of already have that aisle when you think about it, because yes, yo-yos and slinkies are there, but you're also talking Play-Doh and
Etch-a-Sketch.
Legos, games, card games, all that kind of stuff, all the imaginative stuff, anything that's like engineering, building. What are those called? Tinker Toys and
erector
Lincoln
sets.
Right.
Lincoln Logs and
Yeah.
stuff like
No,
that.
Legos.
those are boys' toys.
That's what you think, but
Yeah.
my girls had them. Like,
They did. All
so
right.
you think about it. I think it's a little bit of headspace, and it's also the parent driving. What are you introducing to your kid?
All right. Is Monopoly geared towards boys or girls?
Well, I
Or is
think
that-
it's
is that
both.
gender
In my
neutral?
Well,
house,
you'll
it's
have
both.
to. You've got
Is it
the.
okay?
You've got. What is it? Moneypenny is the
Yes,
character.
yeah, it's
So
not a woman.
you'd have to have Moneypenny's wife or
He-
partner
I
or
didn't-
significant other,
I didn't
or
think he was ever
maybe it
married.
was.
Let's talk about Mr. Potato Head. I mean, they had to introduce Mrs.
We got a
Potato
Mrs.
Head. This
Potato
was
Well,
years
they
ago.
actually have a gender neutral potato head.
They
Isn't it already
do?
kind of gender neutral to begin with?
Well, there's
not if
Mr. and
it's- not if it's
Mrs.
Mr..
They, and it's now. My kids were like,
If you strip off
Up
the
in
parts,
arms.
there's no gender.
exactly.
Just saying.
Well, right, but
That's true.
But Mr. Potato had a brown hat and a black pipe. That's what made him the man.
Right.
Well, the girl had a flowery hat
And a big lip and big
and
red
big
lips.
lips. Yeah.
Well, we were way ahead of our times with this, I feel like. But the Elf on the Shelf, even, right? So it was introduced as a boy, in a sense.
Yeah.
But I always added a little skirt and a bow to the hat. And so it would start out as our Magic the Elf visiting as a boy, and then he would get a cold, and I would add the bow and the skirt. And this was his cousin coming to visit because he had to stay at the North Pole because he had a cold. So you can take anything and make it whatever you want to make it, is my
Yeah.
point. So are we at the point where it's just not defining by parts, so to speak, if you know what I mean? Wink,
Yep,
wink.
yep.
And it's
Nod,
just
nod.
you dress it to however you want to dress it to. You know? That's
All
what I'm
right.
thinking.
Well,
So then is this just another political agenda? We're just forcing
It
this thing
seems
down.
like
we're
it's-
forcing it down your
We're
throat.
creating an issue that doesn't,
That doesn't
really
need to be
truly
an
exist
issue.
because it doesn't really exist. It already is.
Yes.
Is
It'll
already
take care of
resolved.
itself.
And
so.
as someone who's a former sociology major in college, I just feel like this is a non-issue that needs to be brought to the surface because it's already
now it's-
naturally happening. That's
but
just
it's-
making a spectacle out of it, and people
But
are just
now
gonna.
it's law
It's gonna.
in
Well, right.
California.
I think
All right, how
it's
about this?
a waste of time.
A woman is suing Hershey
Oh no!
after
Say
she
it-
unwrapped a Reese's Halloween peanut butter
my God,
cup
I saw this.
with its signature cute pumpkin face. But Cynthia Kelly expected the pumpkin-shaped chocolate to have a jack-o'-lantern face carved into it the way it's pictured on the wrapper. Instead, it was a plain pumpkin-shaped candy, and boy, she didn't like that at all.
Well.
She filed a lawsuit against the maker of Reese's, that's Hershey, claiming it
hysterical.
falsely represented several of the holiday products on its packaging. She says in the lawsuit she, quote, would not have purchased the Reese's Peanut Butter Pumpkins product if she knew that it did not have the detailed carvings of the mouth and or eyes as pictured on the product label. She spent $5, by the way.
Yep.
She wants $5 million.
Yeah. Well.
So
suing
this is
Hershey.
on the
You know what's
heels
funny?
of the
They're
Wendy's
probably
burger,
gonna
right?
lose.
Is that what it is? Wasn't it
they
Wendy's
at
that
Wendy's?
just had the lawsuit for like false? Was it Wendy's that had the advertisement the false advertisement for their burgers, the size of it? and somebody sued the
That
chain.
was Subway that said their footlongs weren't actually a foot.
Was it Subway? Why did I think there was one that was like picturing the size of a burger, and then what they got was like this,
yeah.
and then somebody sued and got millions of dollars. This feels
Really?
like it's
People sue for everything,
On the
but this does
heels.
not surprise me.
If I was Hershey, I would fight this.
Yeah, I think I would
There's
find
no
it
way
too.
I'm
But
giving
I,
you
here's your
$5 million.
$5
I think
back,
There you
and
go.
you know what? Sorry, don't
think
buy us
you
again.
Free Reese's for a year.
I'm not worried
I
about
think
losing
they're
you as a
gonna lose-
customer.
but the problem is then more people will. They're going to change the packaging. You watch next year; it's just going to be a shape. There won't be any face to it. It'll just be a shape.
This is a shame because those Reese's peanut butter cups, the pumpkin ones, are the best ones that they have. And I'm
The
going
most
to tell
peanut
you,
butter?
it's the most peanut butter with the thinnest layer of chocolate around
There
it.
you
So
go.
you're cutting out the thick, crinkly edge of
Now
the
I wonder if they could
traditional ones and
resolve
going right to
the
peanut
issue
butter.
by, like, painting little triangles face on the each candy as it comes through. Just have it's like screened on there really fast. Make it part of the candy. It'll cost more. It'll make.
Can't we just say that this lady is just stupid?
Yeah,
is just nuts.
you
I
can,
think it's
and
stupid.
I think
they
you're
should
right,
put their
Melissa.
heels in and not paint eyes.
Or you could put on the packaging, candy does not appear as
right.
shown on the packaging.
That may be what they
or
end up
or
doing.
may not
Right.
appear as it's shown on the
Yeah.
packaging. That may be less expensive to do it that way.
Well,
What do
they
you
had to
think's
start to
gonna
do that
happen?
with cold medicine, I will tell you. Have you seen some of the size of these cold pills now?
my
They're like
God.
huge. They put
They're
the
right.
picture on there and you're like,
Like
that
horse
is
pills."
not the size of that pill.
Horse pill.
All right, we got to go. We've run out of time. We thank you for listening, everyone. Melissa Smith, thanks for coming in today, and a
Good to
happy
see you
and a
guys.
Merry New Year.
I
And
know.
a Happy New Year
Happy
to
New
you.
Year. Back into the groove again.
That's
In the
right.
groove.
Tim Draper, thanks for coming in.
Joe, thanks for having me. Enjoy the God-given day, everybody.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have a wonderful day. Stay tuned for Gary Smith of the crew. Do You Remember's coming your way at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Rhode Island state lawmakers have introduced legislation that would stiffen the penalties for those found guilty of drunk and impaired driving. That's right, they just got back to work yesterday afternoon. They're already filing bills. Among the proposals would be the extension of Rhode Island's look-back period from 5 to 10 years. Another would raise fines and sentences for drivers involved in a crash with injuries or fatalities. And Rhode Island DOT estimates more than 300,000 arrests annually involve impaired drivers. Legislators say that more than a dozen DUI-related proposals will be taken up during this year's session. In Massachusetts, a 19-year-old woman is dead